Think the average person in Britain is quietly sitting on serious wealth? Think again. Just because someone drives a new car, goes on multiple holidays a year, or seems totally unfazed by £300 dinners, doesn't mean they're financially secure. You see it everywhere. Instagram, TikTok, even at work. People look like they're doing well, comfortable, ahead. But when you strip away the optics and look at the numbers, the reality is much more modest. And understanding that gap between how life looks and how finances actually are is critical if you're trying to build real wealth in the UK. Before we dive in, quick reminder, this channel is about building, not flexing. So let's talk facts. What the average British household actually has. When people talk about wealth, they often mean average, but averages get distorted by a small number of very wealthy people. What really matters is the median net worth, the point where half of households have more and half have less. That gives you a much clearer picture of where most people actually stand. In the UK, the median household net worth sits at roughly £300,000. At first glance, that sounds decent, almost reassuring, but once you break it down, it starts to look very different. Why £300,000 isn't what it sounds like. That £300,000 is not sitting in a bank account. It's not money you can just spend, invest or live off. The majority of it comes from home equity, the value of a property minus the mortgage. For many households, this makes up well over half of their net worth. Then you've got pensions, workplace pensions, private pensions, money that exists on paper, but can't be accessed freely without penalties, age restrictions or tax consequences. Once you account for those two things, what's left, the money people can actually access right now, is surprisingly small. For many UK households, liquid assets come in under £20,000. That's the money that covers emergencies. That's the buffer between annoying problem and financial crisis. And it's nowhere near enough to fund freedom. What this looks like in real life? Picture a couple in their mid-30s. They've been working for a decade, they might own a home, they've started pension contributions, they're doing the right things. Their net worth might be around £80,000 to £120,000. That's not failure, it's normal. But it's also not life-changing. It doesn't buy freedom, it doesn't remove financial stress. It doesn't make money problems disappear. And yet, from the outside, that same couple might look like they're thriving. New phones, a decent car, a couple of holidays a year. That's the illusion. Why it feels like everyone else is richer than you. The UK has a spending problem, not an earning problem. Lifestyle inflation kicks in fast, cars get upgraded, holidays get financed, homes get stretched to the maximum mortgage the bank allows. A lot of wealth, you see, is actually debt wearing a nice outfit. Social media makes it worse. You're constantly exposed to curated highlights, not balance sheets. No one posts their pension shortfall or credit card balance, so people assume they're behind, when in reality, most are standing in roughly the same place. What £300,000 actually gets you? If that entire £300,000 were magically converted into cash, which it can't be, it still wouldn't go as far as people think. A modest house deposit in many parts of the UK? £50,000 plus? A wedding? £30,000 plus? A car? £25,000 plus? Raising children? Tens of thousands over time. Suddenly the number doesn't feel generous, it feels fragile. The bigger problem isn't the number. The real issue isn't that the median net worth is low, it's that for many people it stops growing. Savings plateau, pension contributions stay minimal, money gets spent instead of invested. Home equity rises, but cash flow doesn't, so people feel wealthier without actually becoming more secure. The opportunity most people miss. Here's the upside most people overlook. Being around the median means you're not far from being above it. You don't need to be exceptional. You don't need massive income. You don't need risky bets. You need consistency, intentional spending, and assets that compound. Most people never make the shift because no one explains the reality clearly. They think wealth is about looking rich, not being resilient. The bottom line, the average British household isn't broke, but it's also nowhere near financially free. £300,000 on paper sounds impressive. In practice, it's a foundation, not a finish line. If you understand that early, you stop chasing appearances and start building actual security. And that's the difference between drifting financially and building something that lasts.